Hi, and welcome back to another one of our It's Not Rocket Science 5 Questions Over Coffee. The most important thing is you've got your coffee. And I'm here today with Jenny Jarvis, who is a life coach who's got a great money mindset workshop, which is having some really fantastic results. So I'm really excited about getting into what Jenny's got to say about that and the money mindset. So Jenny, welcome to the It's Not Rocket Science 5 Questions Over Coffee.
Hi, Stuart. It's really nice to be here.
Brilliant. Now, let me just, let's just dive into the questions, which I know, we're going to have a great talk. We talk as long as you like. So what's the biggest challenge your ideal client faces normally in their business or personal life?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing. It's getting the balance of things. So my clients are really motivated and successful in all sorts of areas of their life, but mostly lack confidence and have a desire to increase their communication skills. So confidence and communication are two themes that come up quite a lot. And money often appears as an issue around charging for services. So a lot of my clients, particularly small business, have a struggle about what to charge. And a lot of them, particularly coaches, are altruistic and they feel they want to give away a lot more of themselves. And actually, that's not really good business and it's not good for our soul either. Sometimes we give away too much. So my clients are motivated and they are successful, but there can be areas of their life that are just not quite right. I get lots of women who have great careers, but their personal life's not fantastic, or people who have a really good personal life, but their careers aren't fantastic. So it's getting everything. And I believe we can have everything.
That's brilliant. What's the common mistake people try and make then before they turn to somebody like you to get that sort of help?
I was talking about this specifically actually to a new client the other day, and I think we spend years and years, 10 years for me, working on our own, reading books, watching YouTube videos, thinking that we have all this knowledge, we know what our blocks are, we know what the issues are, and we can do it ourselves. And we spend 10 years doing that sometimes. And then all of a sudden this client came to me and we did an hour session and he's like, what just happened? I don't understand. I've read all the books, I've got all the knowledge, but you have unblocked years worth of stuff in 1 hour session. What just happened? And he was absolutely amazed. He's really into personal development, so it's not new for him, but having somebody in front of you that makes you accountable, that challenges things and asks those questions. Number of clients that say to me, oh, I've never thought of asking myself that question. That's why you pay me, because I do. So yeah, I think a lot of people think they can do it on their own and they read the books and they're interested, but having someone in front is so different.
Yeah, it's fascinating you say it like that. I remember listening to a coach, a consultant, Atul Gawande. I don't know if you've heard of Atul Gawande. He's a surgeon, actually, a medical professional, top of his game, quite brilliant surgeon. And he said, I don't believe that, I would need a coach, but he asked another surgeon to come and watch him do a surgery. And he spent an hour on this surgery. And he said it was the perfect surgery and absolutely everything went right. And he turned to the guy that he was asking here to come and coach him. And he had 5 pages of notes. And he sort of looked at this and went, what are you spotting? And he went, the way that you hold your scalpel, this doesn't give you flexibility for your elbow to move freely when it needs to. And he went through some very detailed stuff. And there were things that he couldn't have spotted for himself because he's in the process. He's in the flow, as it were, doing the surgery. And it's somebody looking from the outside and saying, well, what about such and such? And you think, well, look, I've never thought to think about it. That's just not what I'm doing at that time. So you're absolutely right. Everybody needs somebody to just sort of stand outside, look in on what you're doing and just say, are you thinking about that when you do it? Or are you just in the flow and therefore not even sort of taking notice of those things that would improve performance? Everybody needs somebody to sort of just help them on that path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you're absolutely right. People just need a little help occasionally to get there. So, yeah. So what about that valuable free resource that you point people towards in order to sort of help overcome those mistakes and those challenges?
For me, I offer a free discovery session, which is an hour long. And in that session, we work out whether we're a good fit for future coaching. But also within that 1 hour, you will unlock all sorts of things just from a discovery call. So I would always recommend booking a discovery call with a coach. You will find out so much about yourself that you didn't know possible. So if you want to book a discovery call, I think my LinkedIn details are on the bottom, and I'd be really happy to do that. And the other thing I want to talk to you a bit about is think about words that you use for money. So this is something we do in our money mindset workshop in great detail, and it has such a big unlocking value. What words do you associate with money? And look at the positive words and see whether you really genuinely feel positive about those words, because not everybody does. And it's fascinating how the words we work on within our workshop are generally positive words. So they're words like savings, ease, stability, security. They all sound really great. But the clients that bring them up, I hear from the way they say them to me that they're not happy with those words. And they're not at ease with the words. And then we do a lot of work on it in the workshop. And this is something that you can do at home at the very top level. I would look at it. What words do you associate with money, and how do you really feel about them?
That's interesting. And I know you've mentioned those money mindset workshops to me before, and you're getting some great results with those. Some sort of, I don't know if you can give us, without going into too much personal detail, about some of those those unlocking events, what they've unlocked for people and exactly how they've moved things forward.
Sure, that the workshops have been profound in a way that I didn't anticipate. Actually, we've extended the workshop from a 2-hour to a 3-hour workshop because we understood after the first few that we need to put some breaks in the middle. It gets really deep. And so we've had quite a lot of tears in which was unexpected, really. And the person I collaborate with, Rafe, he does family constellation therapy. And what that does is it looks at how our mindsets with money start very early in life, and our connections to parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, people who were in our lives as children, and their thought processes around money. And so when he does that bit, it unlocks all sorts of, oh yeah, I should have known that, but I didn't. And that makes a lot of sense. And once we've got that part, I then move on to the word association. So I look at when we worked with a lady last week who had a real problem with the word ease. And her problem with the word ease was actually highlighted by someone else saying the word ease around money, and her feeling, oh, I don't like that. That feels uncomfortable. Why would the word ease feel uncomfortable? And just working through the process of unlocking that, she just all of a sudden felt easy with the word ease. After that, we do a coaching session. So the start of coaching, we do the goal setting and we do the reality of where you are in the situation, and then we create things to move forward. And actually discovered also that people can struggle with I want. So when I say, what do you want? Particularly our generation, we were told as kids, and we probably tell our own kids, I want never gets. And it means that people struggle then to find what they want in life because they feel like they shouldn't want anything. And if you want something, it's not going to happen. So we unlock a lot of the thought processes behind I want. At the end of our last session, the whole group has asked to do a refresher in a couple of months so that they can regroup as the same group, which of course we're really happy to do. But that impact of the group getting together and going, wow, can we do this again? Because I'll see where we are in a month's time. And we've organised that. So that was also really interesting to see their reaction immediately was, this is amazing. Can we do it again?
Wow. Profound results. I mean, it's amazing. I'm just blown away by the fact that you can help unlock those. And I identify it with something that I think I struggled with, because I can remember my mum saying to me, I want never gets. And so you think, well, in that case, I don't want to ever say I want again, do I? Because that will not get me anywhere. And it was early in my scientific career when somebody said to me, well, what do you want? And I looked at them and said, well, I don't know. And they said, well, you better find out quickly then, hadn't you? And that was a profound shock to me when somebody looked at me and went, oh, I've actually got to get my act together on that one. I really do need to, because apparently they need to know about it. And just changing that mindset, which was quite profound for me. So I can see how those words really affect the way people put these sort of associations together. And great that you're sort of addressing that. Are details of those workshops that you just talked about as well within your LinkedIn information, so people can find that if they need to?
Yeah. The next one's on the 27th of February, I believe. I should have checked that, shouldn't I, really? I'm fairly sure it's the 27th of February, but I will stick it on.
You can always update later. That's the wonderful thing about the internet. It's never ever dead. It will constantly be there to remind you whenever. So I'm sure they're evergreen. I'm going to be doing more.
So many times this morning I thought, check the date, but I had a client this morning and it ran over a bit, and we were doing a lot of unlocking this morning.
Fantastic, great, real life stuff. So talking about that Jenny, you were just talking about sort of things. And is there a particular program or course or realization that you had that sort of brought you to where you are at the moment?
Yeah, when I was pregnant with my eldest daughter, and subsequently afterwards, I ended up with postnatal depression, and there wasn't an awful lot of help. And there's kind of help when you're going through it a little bit. I found it really difficult, but afterwards, you just kind of churned out into the world again. Yeah, there you are. You're feeling okay, and actually, you're not the same person anymore. So it's really difficult to then go back into your corporate job or do, there's all sorts of things that happen being through trauma. And before I had my second daughter, I then decided to embark on a 20-week program of hypnotherapy and NLP. I didn't really know what I was signing up for. I just knew that I didn't want to feel the way I did again. And that sort of started my journey. And that particular moment changed me from being a very negative person, which, you know me a bit, Stuart, and you probably wouldn't understand that I was a negative person, but I was incredibly negative mindset. And that turned that around 14 years ago. And then I recently, in the last 5 years, started on my coaching journey. And within that, I have my own coach. And it's all coaches have their own coach because we know how important it is. It's like a dentist not going to the dentist. It would be ridiculous if we didn't have our own coaches. So when I went to my coach and NLP practitioner and I said, I really want to work on my money mindset. And she said to me, what has taken you this long? You've had all these things, you've done coaching. What has got you to this stage that you now want to work on your money mindset? And I said, well, it's now a priority. In the past, I was dealing with my negative mindset. I was dealing with anxiety. I had massive anxiety. I was dealing with life, like, having kids, having a husband, moving around the country. I was dealing with all that stuff. And so I dealt with that. And now money's a priority for me. And a lot of the people on my course for the money mindset are actually in their 60s, which really surprised me. How long people hold on to money mindset issues. And in their 60s, they're going, I've had enough of this. I want to do something different. So if we can get people coming in their 20s and 30s and not having the next 20 years, it would really benefit them. I remember going to the cash machine and shaking in case it didn't give me the money, or tapping at the supermarket and going, oh, is this going to actually pay for my supermarket shopping? It's ridiculous. So for me, having that NLP was just blew the lid off of everything. Charging, I was terrible at charging. Do everything for free. I was a really good professional volunteer. It's not great.
Wonderful phrase. I love it. I love it. I've not come across that one. I'm going to be using that one, Jen. I should be stealing professional volunteer.
It's on my CV.
Right.
Yeah, I'd volunteer for everything. So I'm the chair of all sorts of things. I teach for free, and I do lots of things for free. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, where's my value? Where's my worth? I'm giving away a lot of myself. I've got 40 years worth of experience in life. I've been paying for my own personal development, thousands of pounds on my own personal development. And so I need to get some of this back, because if there's an energy exchange, it's really bad for us emotionally. We need that energy exchange. And sometimes people that can't afford it, it's not I do some free coaching, mainly with single parents who really don't have the money, but there's always an exchange of some description. So quite often it's a testimonial, and you know, if they get, and only if they get good benefit from it, of course, then give me a testimonial. Sometimes it's just having the feedback from them. Like, I get one of my ladies who messages me all the time saying, I've had a great day, thanks for our session. And that is a good energy exchange. So as long as there is some sort of exchange, but we can't live on fresh air. And the money mindset is about getting people to realize that we can't live on fresh air and there has to be an exchange and we have to be what we're worth.
Brilliant.
Which is usually a lot more than we think we are, Stuart.
You know, I'm very reminded of that because of a story I heard some years back with an engineer that came to Henry Ford. And this is back in the sort of early 1900s. But Henry Ford's plant had come to a halt, and the lines were down. It was costing them a lot, and they tried to fix it, and they called in an engineer. And the engineer spent about 20 minutes looking at something, and then he put one screw back into a conveyor belt, and everything started. And he presented, at the time, an extortionate bill to Henry Ford of $100,000. And Henry Ford looked at it and went, that is extraordinary. You were here 20 minutes and you used one screw. And he said, would you prefer me to itemize that for you, Mr. Ford? And of course, Ford said yes. And he broke it down, $99,999.85 for the experience, 15 cents for the screw. And, you know, it's back to the fact that you add value, you add, you know, that much value, that value comes at a cost to you, and that energy that you've put into it, you need that exchange in order to be able to rebuild it so that you can do it again. That's part of what we have to accept.
Yeah. And with coaching and also the sort of thing that you do, these are things that last forever. So you might need top-ups with coaching, but you know more about yourself. So when you get into tricky positions, you can start asking yourself some of the questions that a coach would ask you, because you do get used to it. And for yourself, the skills that you give people will follow them to grow their businesses. And that, I think, is what we need to look at, is the whole transformation. It's not the hour session that we give. And often it's not even an hour session, and often like we do lots of writing and homework in between, and there's lots of message exchanges and things, but it's not that session, it's the whole transformation. And the A to B, and then I get you from A to B, and then you take yourself wherever you want to go after that. Brilliant
message. I love it, Jenny. So finally, I mean, there's a question that I should have asked you, which I haven't. What's the question of ask that would really give value to our audience?
Yeah, it's funny because you asked me that question. I was like, I love that question. I ask my clients that question all the time, but being asked that question yourself is really difficult. So I asked a few people, actually. I asked a few people about it, and one of the questions that came up that made me laugh, and this is the one I'm going to ask, is, why did Rafe's wife, Rafe facilitates the money mindset course with me, why did she pay full whack for a money mindset course when her husband is one of the facilitators? And I can give you the answer to that. And the answer to that is, you can do all the free stuff in the world. I have free clients, but actually having skin in the game makes you really invest in yourself. If you've paid and there's that exchange, if you've paid for something, you get so much more out of it than if it's free. And there are people that genuinely can't afford to pay for things, and that's a different scenario. But Rafe's wife felt invested fully in the day and in the course and program because she'd paid for it. If she'd just gone along as Rafe's wife, she'd have just been there as Rafe's wife, and we may not even have paid so much attention to her because she wasn't a paying client. She was a sort of sideline, but she was fully invested and fully immersed. And I think that we, in this current age, spend so much time looking for free things, and we think, well, I can do that for free. You can. You absolutely can do it for free, but how motivated are you if you do it for free?
you know, I'm going to have to go and have a conversation with a couple of people around here at the moment about the amount of stuff that I'm doing free, which perhaps I should be paid for. So I'm going to take that particular message and lesson and apply it very personally this afternoon, Jenny. And I shall be saying to somebody about the amount of work that's going on, which apparently I'm doing free, that needs a bit more investment.
You might want to work on the exchange there, though, okay. Stuart. Like, what do you get in exchange? You might not want to be on such a sticky wicket.
Let's deal with the exchange problem later on. Jenny, that's brilliant. And at that, I'm going to leave it. And I'm just going to say thank you very much for a really entertaining sort of 20 minutes, Jenny. Remember, if you want to see more about what Jenny's doing, her LinkedIn profile is down below. Go find out what she's up to. See if you can find out more about that free hour of what have you got to lose spending an hour talking to Jenny, unlocking things. Even if nothing else happens, you'll get a free hour of understanding yourself better, if nothing else, and Jenny being yet again another great professional volunteer, and also about those money mindset workshops, which sound like they're a great idea. And if you'd like to sort of see more of these and keep up to date with what we're doing at the Complete Approach, go to this link, which is tca.fyi. That's tca.fyi/subscribe. That way you'll get all of the advance notice of when these are happening and keep up to date with us on places like Twitter and Facebook, etc. Jenny, thank you so much for that.
You can also find me on Facebook under Jenny. Well, it's Jenny Halliday Jarvis on Facebook. So if anybody wants to friend request me, please do. And I have a Facebook group, which I will guide you to if you do that.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking again on this. I look forward to hearing about how many people are going to flood to those money mindset workshops and the results you're going to get. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Stuart. Have a great day.
And you.